Welcome to my channel. Most men walk through life blind to the signals. Women sin not because they're foolish, because they were never taught a look. And when it comes to married women, the signals become even more complex, more layered, more silent. Sean tells attracted to Schwan flirt in obvious ways. Sean sent late-night texts or beg for attention. Instead, she'll leave behind a trail of micro-behaviors so subtly feel like static in the background. No less you know how to tune in. But let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed the way a married woman lingers when you speak, the way her laughter lasts? It's a second too long, like she's not wing at the joke, but a feeling you give her. Or the way her eyes often when you say something deep, like she's suddenly in a world where she isn't, toe pretend. That's not politeness. That's not coincidence. That's emotion weak. Because when a woman is married buries her feelings deep under loyalty, routine, and the weight of doing the right thing but desire, real feminine. It doesn't follow rules that leaks. It shows up in her tone in her present scene, the pauses between her words. Shows up when she asks Yahweh about your dreams and listens like no one else ever has. It's up when she mentions her husband, but her eyes is skewed to say something and never would. And most men miss it. But yeah, once because today we revealing thief 5 subtle signals a married woman shows when she's secretly drawn to if she tries to fight it. The siren guesses these are psychological perspires itself. Reatoity, deco, death, silent language of family traction, even when it's wrapped in wedding vows and careful smiles. Keep watching Beaks. Once you learn how to see her signals, you'll never be blind again. Let's get brutally honest for a meet. Today's world attraction doesn't follow clean-cut lines of fairy tales or romantic movies. It's not always a beau. Single. People locking eyes across rooms. Sometimes desire brews in the most unexpected places. Sometimes a woman will be taken with earring on her finger in a life that looks complete. Finn herself magnetically drawn to Ammon, who awakens something she hasn't felt in years. And here's what most men didn't understand. Doesn't cancel attraction. It super says it. And the more deeply it's buried, the more powerfully it leaks through. Subtle signals that most guys ignore, but high awareness, men like Ho can learn to take those cues with surgical pressure. You see, a married woman will never just say she's sent to you. That would violate everything. She's built trust there, the persona she wears. So instead, she hints, she signals, and coach. She flirts in shadows, not spotlight sand. What makes this topic psychologically deep is that some Maramvan she doesn't consciously know watches doing her behavior shifts not because she plants it, but because her subconscious starts craving your presence more than she can admit even to herself. Maybe she laughs too hard at your jokes. Maybe she touches her necklace when you speak. Maybe her eyes sparkle in conversation, drop when someone else walks in. Each of these is a micro-confession, a clue, a breadcrumb on that trail, Afro-pressed emotion, and feminine longing. But here's the twist. The signals are Raya-seated miss if you're just watching her math. You have to watch her Sanche Herbid language. The way she created excuses to be near few, or how response you leave these moments carry more a truth than 1,000 spoken words and is where stoic awareness comes in. Because if the mono doesn't react emotionally, the Manuel observes with calm detachment that he's the one whose eyes everything herods. The undercurrent feels the shift in energy. This video isn't about seduction. It's not about manipulation, about insight and strength to recognize. When a woman isolantly inviting emotional connection, if society says she shouldn't, in next few moments we'll uncover th5 deeply hidden signs a married woman goes off, and she's quietly, emotionally, and even erotically drawn to you. These eyes are backed by female psychonaut fantasy. If you've ever wondered if being polite or us, there's something more. Thesis the video that will give it you clarity. Stay focused. What you're about to learn may change how you see every woman who enters your life forever. Senuan, her behavior changes in micro moments. You trigger a shift she can't control. When a married woman is secretly attracted to you, the very atmosphere around her changes the moment you walk into the room. Most men miss this because if they refocused on what she says, but the truth hides in how she changes her tone, her breathing, the way she shifts her weight to Cheshire wrist or ranges necklace. She wasn't even thinking about all become involuntary. Your masculine pretend may suddenly become more animate, more playful, or paradoxically quieter, and more effectively because your energy enters her emotional space, triggering a Ripley effect in her nervous system. This is conscious attraction biologically, and psychological, a spark she didn't intend but now can't turn off. She might begin fixing her hair when you're in ear, glancing at you when you're not looking, laughing at things you say. Fatter and even funny. She might even seem nervous around you. Fidgeting, go viring of blushing over nothing. Dot art performances. These arrows liege in her emotional armor. Stoic men observeth this not with arrogance, not with ego, but with clarity. Because real attractionist in the words, it's in disruption of her self-control sign. Number 2. She shares details that feel personal, but not too personal. When a married woman is drawn to you, she walks up psychological titrop. She wants to close her, but she doesn't want to feel like she's crossing the line or is getting caught emotionally exposed. What does she do? She starts revealing herself just enough. She tells you stories about her past, mentions her childhood, memory, shares her favorite books, movies, or things that made her crim. She opens up about a fear, a passion, or a private frustration and immediately softens it with a laugh. Or, I didn't know why. I just told you that safe disclosures are real. A touch is gauging how you'll respond. I feel lean and connect deeply without being pushy, or her trust grows. Her emotional walls begin to erode, not because she wants an affair, but because her feminine spirit is longing to will not just herd this kind of emotional vulnerability. Ice attraction in its purest form. A woman won't open up to a man she doesn't feel safe with or curious about. When she shares her emotional world with you, it means you've already entered at sign. Number 3 here. Eye contact breaks early, then hides behind them. When a married woman looks at you a little too long, then quickly looks away, or wench pretends not to notice you, but checks your reflection on a window, a mirror, or a glance. When she thinks or not watching, that's not just observation, that's emotionally her eyes trying to weather words can't. Prolonged eye contact from a married woman, especially eyeshadow that make it a habit with other cis, one of the clearest and est signs of attraction. But what's even more telling is what happens immediately after if she laughs, nervously plays with her hands, or suddenly focuses or on something. Elsa shows over Creek trying to regain emotional control. That's how you know it was real. And if she holds that gaze with intensity, softness, or playful colleague uses letting her guard down intentional ladies. Not just a Luke that's a signal flare, a silent invitation taken. A. Few have the strength not to react emotionally. A stoic man never rushes and lets her eyes speak and listens without chasing because desire is most powerful when it's unspoken and respected. Sign number 4. She subtle compares you to her husband without realizing a tone of the most overlooked things. Is we a married woman begins bringing her husband into the conversation, not to build a wall, but to create contrast. She might say things like, "My husband doesn't like that kind of movie, but you always have. He never really listens to me like that. You don't get to talk about these things at home." These statements are not about they're about emotional testing opening a window. Not why do not be seen through the others, but just enough for you. Tinnitus, she wants to see. Do you offer some meth deeper, something stronger, some meth more emotionally grounding than what she already has? And she's not just observing words. She's absorbent, where presents how you make her feel, how you hold space, how you listen without judgment. All or need. This kind of contrast is powerful and dangerous because one shesh feels emotionally safer with youth on the man. She sleeps next to her. Attraction shifts from curiosity to emotional dependency. That's a bond. Mossmen don't even know the rebuilding Gao. It's too late. Sign number 5. Excuses to linger in your presence. Anan feels guilty about this, is the most Dalinar and telling Zamar woman who feels drawn to you will find subtle ways to be around you. Maybe she happens to show up where you are or asks you for help with things. She could easily do herself or walk slower when you and her be, or starts conversations that not really need to happen just to keep you talking. But what's more revealing her desire to around you is her behavior. Afterwards, do act distant or overly formal or even slightly cold. Why? Because her attraction left a trace of guilt. She treats to emotionally pull back to convince herself it's not happening. Bite is in the back and forth ice absolutely blurred. A stoic man didn't exploit this dot. He doesn't push or provoke, simply remains present, strong, centered because a knows. That real power isn't in taking what isn't yours and understanding what others are afraid to admit. When a married woman seeks your presenter assists, it then seeks it. It means your emotions are now entangled with you. And sometimes that's a more powerful attraction than anything physical. Here is truth. Most men never realize until it's too late. When a married woman shows subtle signs of attraction, it's not just about you. It's about what you awaken in her. It's about a piece of her hat's been quiet for too long. The part of her that's still alive, still vibrant, still searching for a spark that reminds her what shoes before the routines, the obligations, the silent emotional disconnected become more than a temptation. You become a mirror, one that reflects not just her beauty, but her desire to feel alive again. And that's where their power lies, because attraction is spousy from someone who taken is really about crossing lines. It's about connection. It's about feeling understood in a world that stopped listening. It's about a man who tried to possess but witness shouldn't seduce, but sees who doesn't chase but stands still powerfully. You didn't need to make her yours. You just need to become the kind man whom question why she feels so drawn to you in the first place. And the brother is the essence, obsolete dominance, off-grounded masculinity of living in such a way that women you not because of your words but because of your presence. If this message awakens something in you've started to recognize signs used to look, then it's time to stop playing game like every other man. Yeah, we're made to be average. You are. Mad observe deeper. Speak less radio sir as your next move. Hit that subscribe button, not just for contempt for clarity. Turn on the notification bell because the next video might reveal something that rewires how you see every woman from this moment forward. And drop a comment below. I choose presence over pressure. Let the world know Yuri and other to impress. You're here to body hat Mossman fear. True masculine stillness. This is where an eye's earned through restraint. Where women chase what they can't. Fine. All nonverbal communication.